Our first set of awards tonight are the Ed DeHanas Awards, which are new this year to honor some officials in Lorain County that have had an impact on our student athletes and our teams. So I'd like to call up first Mr. Mike Collier, the athletic director from Clearview High School, to present the first couple of awards.
Good evening. Great to see the turnout tonight and all the great Lorain County schools and officials and media that play such a big role in providing our student athletes with what we have here in Lorain County. We're very blessed, that's for sure. So, first Ed DeHanas Award winner tonight, a guy that I know quite well. Start off with Nick Molnar. Nick has been officiating track and cross country for a very long time. It says 28 years. I'll let you guys read the program. I'll kind of talk a little bit about him. But he's done a phenomenal job doing the district meet. I know he puts a lot of time and effort into that and makes it run very efficiently. Obviously, those of us athletic directors that have been around for a while, we know the importance of having great track officials and helping to run those things efficiently and make things that are moving well. And Nick does a great job of doing that. So I know I'm extremely blessed to have him. He's an event manager for us at Clearview and Durling, and has run a lot of our events, does a lot of our middle school tournaments and stuff. But he is an impressive guy to watch. He's very efficient. He takes care of every little thing, every little detail. Very dependable. I know that things are going to be handled when he's there. And he is definitely somebody that I would not want to be doing this job without. So Nick Molnar is an exceptional man, and I think the Molnar name is very synonymous with track and cross country, with what they've done over the years. They've brought their daughter into the fold as well. They're always running our LCAAA meets wherever that may be. Any big meet in Lorain County, you can expect to see them there. But they do a great job and keep things rolling for us. And again, like I said, Nick has been an exceptional part of Clearview. We're blessed and grateful to have him there on board with us. But to see what he's done over the years in track and cross country, it says a lot about, we all know what kind of weather we get here in Northeast Ohio. So for them to battle it day in, day out, it's coming up on the busy season for them, and I think maybe they'll get Sundays off, and that'll be about it. But we appreciate all that they do. So, first off, I'm going to bring up here Nick Molnar. And next up, we have his wife, Deb Molnar. Deb, to listen to the story, I think she's the one that got Nick into this, so he has her to blame. She's been doing this since 1990, so I believe this will be her 35th year of officiating cross country and track. One of the best starters around, has worked at every single level from local area up to down to state. And does a phenomenal job. She commands respect. She gets the kids lined up, and she knows what she's doing. She makes the kids feel comfortable in what they're doing, and they know exactly what to expect. So again, she's someone who gets the track meets running. We're able to be efficient and keep things going. We know that the weather's bad, and we don't want to be out there for longer than we have to be. So she's able to keep things moving and does a great job. A little backstory, she was a teacher, a math teacher. She's a math teacher at Clearview High School. This is her last year, sadly. We're going to be missing her. But she does a phenomenal job, again, at Clearview with our students. I know they respect her, but they look to her when they need help. And she's somebody that, the kids, they flock to. We all see those teachers in our building who have a huge impact on the students. And she's definitely one of those for us. We appreciate everything Deb's done over the years. Hopefully she continues to work our track meets and cross-country meets, and we don't want to see her leave, and I'm sure she'll be sticking around. Like I said, she was, I remember her as a math teacher, so I guess that means she was been about 5 when she started teaching. Is that right, Deb? But she wears it well, and we respect everything that she's done and appreciate all that she does for Lorain County, that's for sure. Deb Molnar.
All right, our third and final Ed DeHanas Award winner will be introduced by Mr. Brian Corey from Lorain High School.
So before I move on to our next award winner, I just real quick, when it comes to Deb, you know, she walks my neighborhood on a daily basis, okay? There's a reason why she looks 30 years old. So she's speed walking the neighborhood, and pretty much every day I'm sitting in the driveway drinking a Busch Light, smoking a cigar. It's the reason why I look like I'm 60 years old and she looks like she's 30. So, anyways, before we move on to this award, I think it's important that we talk a little bit about this award and how it came about. So we had some conversations about wanting to recognize an official, and in this case officials, as a part of our banquet every year, and that conversation led us to naming it after Ed DeHanas. For those of you that don't know Ed, Ed was a longtime official, officiated multiple sports, and had a tremendous impact on Lorain County in a number of different ways. Ed, God rest his soul, passed away. We did invite his wife, Faith, to come to the banquet today. Unfortunately, she had a procedure and was not, this morning, and was not able to be here. But she did send me this for me to read on behalf of her and the family. Ed would have been honored to have this award named after him. The athletes were always his top priority during his coaching and officiating career. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the banquet, but we'll be there in spirit, as your award means so much to all of us. Thank you. God bless. So again, that was from Faith. Many of you know. Our next award winner of the Ed DeHanas Award is Al Ivy. I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't know Al. Obviously officiates baseball, football, basketball, has been a part of all of our lives in some way, shape, or form for the last 30 years. For me, and this is just me, okay, when it comes to the characteristics of a great official, and we got a lot of officials in this room, so I know I'm going to get eggs and tomatoes and stuff thrown at me. No, I'm just kidding. But this is, again, for me, characteristics of a great official for the sports of baseball, football, and basketball. Number one, never take anything personally. Always be approachable. Understand that sports are emotional for everybody involved. Always be professional, and always have the respect of the partner or partners that you're working with. Al exemplifies exactly that. I don't think there's any coach that Al has ever worked their game that will ever say anything negative about him as a person or an official. As we all know, it's less about how well you officiate the game and more about the person that you are when the game finishes. And everybody views Al as being a person with the absolute utmost integrity and a person that connects with people. Whether it be the kids that are a part of the game, the coaches, the fans. I'll bet you Al is the only, actually there's another one here, Tony Jordan and Al. I'll say this about both of them. You could cuss them out, call them every name in the world, and either one of them will look at you and be like, okay. It'd be totally unfazed. I think they're the only two officials, and they happen to both be in this room, that I've ever been around that it doesn't matter what you say to them, they're totally unfazed by it. Again, what makes Al even more special is the relationships that he's developed with players over the years. I mean, I can give the example of my son, who's a junior in college right now. I'll bet you that Al is the only official that he could immediately say, yeah, I remember the game with this, or I remember the game with that, because of, again, the impact that he had on my son for the games that he officiated. We greatly appreciate how he's made the sports more enjoyable for everybody involved, and I know that all of Lorain County wants to say a big thank you for your past 30 years, and although you keep saying that you're going to be retiring sometime in the near future, I don't see it happening, especially now that you're down to like 180 pounds. But again, thank you, Al Ivy. Congratulations on this great award.
Excuse me, I'm Al's sister. I'm a crazy one. But before he sits down, I just want, as everybody know, our mom passed away. So we just want to give you this, brother. You can open it, and I know he's going to cry. Y'all finna see him cry.
It's all family here. You can cry.
Oh, roll tide, baby.
Someone's mom.
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of y'all. I mean, I've met a lot of people in my years of officiating. Like my best friend, my brother, Tony Jordan. I mean, we met on the baseball field at Longfellow 30-some years ago, and we still best of friends. Like he's like my little brother, or older brother, because he's
Get bigger than him now.
yeah.
Get there.
And y'all just don't understand the feeling I have officiating. I mean, like, there's one thing I like about officiating is the kids. And when the kids invite you to their wedding and their graduation parties, I remember I went to a graduation party in Avon, and two old ladies walked up to me and said, "Are you lost?" I said, "No." She said, "So you must be a coach." I said, "No, I'm an official." She said, "You're a referee and you had a graduation party?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "What you do to them?" I said, "Nothing. Just having fun with them." But my thing is this with kids and coaches. I mean, 30-something years, never gave a technical out, never threw a personality game. I don't care because you do what you do, you know. And if you're a good official, you don't worry about fans and you don't worry about coaches. You just go out there and have fun with the kids. And, you know, I adopted one of my daughters that's sitting way in the back when she was young, and I mean, she was just real feisty and stuff, and this one girl was messing with me, and I said, I want you to go foul her and foul her hard. So she did, and I'm like, I didn't mean that hard. But it's just the way I approach kids and approach coaches. I mean, it's a job. Everybody knows officiating is a job, but you don't have to take it personally. You out there to have fun with the kids. You don't worry about that coach. You don't worry about grandpa and grandma talking about you're a bad official. If you're a bad official, okay, you're a bad official. But why are you gonna yell at the grandma and grandpa? They don't know nothing. They just yelling because they want to yell. So I mean, well, speaking, I love my sister and my niece for giving me this gift. I love my wife for 30 years almost for putting up all the officials and the coaches. I mean, coaches gonna be coaches. They gonna yell at you and they gonna scream at you. And I always tell coaches, officiating, don't take this personal, but officiating is like having a girlfriend and a wife. Somebody ain't gonna be happy. That's how I look at it. So at the end of the day, you go home, and as long as you feel good about yourself and what you did, that's all that counts. And I don't lose no sleep when I officiate, because I know every kid, when I walk on that court, I walk on that field, and the kids enjoy seeing me. They might have lost, they might have won, but they enjoy seeing me. That means I did my job. And that's why I try to tell all the young officials, as long as these kids having fun with what you doing, that's all you gotta do. Don't worry about nothing else. As long as these kids having respect for you, in the long run, you ain't gotta worry about nothing else, because they're gonna invite you to this, invite you to that. They're gonna, when you see y'all in the street, they're gonna say, oh, I remember Big Al, that's Big Al. Wait a minute, you ain't Big Al no more. No, I'm still Big Al. I got big feet or whatever. But anyway, I always tell them, just have fun with the kids and don't worry about coaches and parents, because they just protecting like coaches protecting their jobs. That's all they doing. And if you can't deal with that, why worry about that? So just pray for me that I keep on going. I don't know how long I'm gonna go, but
About 10 more.
no. Brian Corey, I love you, Brian, but 10 more, I don't see it happening. But I just want to thank my family, all the ones that showed up, all my friends, and God bless y'all, and thank y'all for showing up.
All right, our next set of awards are our citizenship awards. So our first award winner will be introduced by Mr. Andy Stillman, the athletic director at Vermillion High School.
I mean, it figures I have to follow the legend, Al Ivey, and someone didn't work that out. So I have the pleasure to award our first citizenship award. Now the citizenship award is presented to someone that has given themselves freely to the to high school athletics, that is specifically outside of like the school environment. I have a pleasure to present this to Brian Zabo. A little backstory. I think I started, I guess I met Brian probably sometime in 2015 when I first got to Vermillion. And right off the rip, when I first got to Vermillion, I saw that we needed to kind of reorganize and structure our youth programs. specifically for football. So I got the rec director together, the YMCA director, we got all on the same page, kind of took things over, and Brian Zabo comes out of, to me at that time, felt like nowhere, and he and a small group of individuals donated thousands of dollars in new football pads, equipment, helmets, jerseys. It was something that we could have never done. And it's funny because now you fast forward 10 years later, those kids in that program have now just graduated and have had the best, most successful football season in Vermilion history. And Brian Zabo, with that little bit of give back then, had a huge part in making that happen. So it affected so many kids' lives and so many families in our community. So Brian, thank you so much for all you do for Vermilion, Lorain County, the surrounding schools. I say this about Germans Villa. Vermilion is so lucky to have a place like Zabo Apparel in our community. The way you give back to our kids in our programs athletically, could never say thank you enough. So it's my pleasure and my honor to award our Lorain County Athletic Administrators Citizenship Award to Brian Zabo.
Congratulations.
And our next Citizenship Award will be introduced by Mr. Jason Ward, Athletic Director at Columbia High School.
Where's Al? Al, I love you. I love you, brother. We, sister and I were watching a scrimmage, I think it was 2 years ago in the summertime over at Avon, a football scrimmage, and my sister's in her early 40s, and Al refereed a number of her basketball games, softball games, and she looked out there and she was, oh, Big Al. She got a tear in her eye, and I said, you all right? She goes, I just love him. I just love him, and we all love you, and when we see that infectious smile, we're all reminded that there's still good people in this world, man. So congratulations, well deserved.
Amen.
So Homer, Jim Hurst, Pastor Jim, walked into my office about 18 years ago and said, I'd like to volunteer. I'd like to help you out. I was the football coach at Columbia at the time, and said, well, what do you want to do? I don't have any contracts to give out. He's like, no, I just want to volunteer. And I had heard a great quote, long before that there's no bigger heart than the heart of a volunteer, and I was certainly appreciative. I said, what do you want to do? I don't, what would you like? How would you like to be involved in our program? He said, I want to do whatever it is you need me to do. I want to do whatever it is that nobody else wants to do. We all have those. There's 17 schools in Lorain County. We all have someone like that volunteers their time to do the little things, and he did a number of those little things, whether it was towels for the basketball team or footballs for us or water or videoing games or any of those things, the things that need to get done on a daily basis. I would walk by the water buffalo thing where everybody gets their water from and get mad about a tire being blown, and the next day that thing would be fixed, or not having a place for all the coaches to hang their jackets up in the coach's office. Next day I'd come in, there's an extra hook, an extra shelf, a coat of paint on something, just all of those things. But he recognized a need in Columbia Station for other things as well. And as a pastor for almost 30 years and the pastor at Clearview Church in Columbia Station for 13, he recognized the need for Jesus in the lives of our young people. And there was never an agenda there. It was always that our kids knew that he was the pastor down the road, and they knew that they could talk to him about those types of things. And it didn't take long after that first year where you'd see, kids wearing a shirt that just said Jesus on it. I'm like, Homer, are you passing out shirts with Jesus on it? He's like, no, they asked me if they asked me for one, I'd give them one. I said, okay. And then it was, our kids don't have anywhere to go in Columbia Station after a football game. Where are they going? Well, next thing you know, we've got the fifth quarter at his church. And our entire student section after football games had a place to go. They had food for them. They had a big bonfire for them. And everybody would go to his church for the fifth quarter. And it became a tradition that is still ongoing today. We have the Columbia Christian Athletes. And Homer gets together and has a Bible study every Thursday morning with some students in our school. And it gives them an outlet that oftentimes public schools, don't provide or feel funny about providing or whatever. I know, a lot of our schools have the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, but this is his. And he made this his own. And it's a very special thing. And, we've got so many stories together. And he loves our kids so much, and our kids love him. And a lot like Big Al, where they're inviting you to weddings or graduation parties. The thing is with Homer is they're asking him to officiate their weddings. They're asking him to do their mother or father or grandfather or grandmother's funerals, and to see how his relationship has developed with everybody in our community over the course of almost 2 decades has been a joy. We're lucky to have him in Columbia Station. I thank you for everything that you've done for me personally, my family, all the families in Columbia Station. You truly are so deserving of a citizenship award because you're one of the best people I've ever met. So thank you very much. Congratulations.
I want to share a story. Do I need a microphone? I don't think so. Preachers never need a microphone. Goes back a couple years, and we were practicing on the field, and I was up on the roof filming, and we had a sound system up there that played music, and they always wanted me to throw some music on. And they yelled up this week, and this is the week we were playing Keystone. They said, throw some music on, so I just hit the button. I didn't turn any music. I didn't pick any music. I just hit the button. And on comes Purple Rain by Prince. And he turns around and looks up at me and he says, seriously, you got to play that song? I'm trying to hit the buttons. But, we've had some good times. But I'll tell you, my 18 years have been a blessing. It's all because of him, not because of me. He gets the praise. He gets the glory. It's a blessing to be a part of this community. We live 13, 14 miles away from Columbia Station. I was complaining to God about driving 4 miles to church, and he said, well, let's go 36 miles or 13 miles and take 36 stoplights, and you can stop complaining. But I am blessed by the opportunity to be there, so thank you so much, Coach, for letting me do this class. Thank you, Coach.
Our next award is our Jim Allen Award. It goes to a media member here in Lorain County, and that'll be introduced by Mr. Brian Corey from Lorain High School.
Okay, this year's recipient of the Jim Allen Award is Chris Sweeney. A few things before I start talking a little bit about Chris. I want to talk about the impact that the members of our media have on our student athletes, our coaches, and our communities. I've always felt that media members create history. They create history from the night before, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, 40 years down the road. In ways that I don't think our media members really totally understand the positive impact that they have. Just over Christmas break, I was going through some old scrapbooks and from when I played, and my son, who's now a junior in college, just going through some of my articles, one of which I have right here that happened to be written by Tim Gebhardt, who's sitting right there. Tim, sorry to age you a little bit there, buddy, but just, for me to still have all of these articles now being 50 years old, from when I was in high school, my son, who has a scrapbook full of every single article from when he played, baseball and basketball, and me even from when I was the head basketball coach at Southview. My mom kept that scrapbook for me that we all keep. But point being is, the impact that's made by a sports writer, yes, it's felt the next day after the contest when all of us read and enjoy that story, but that story lives on forever for so many people in so many different ways, sharing it with their kids and their grandkids and so on and so forth. And I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys do, because, again, I know you don't necessarily realize it, but we do, the impact that you have on so many kids and people like me, obviously now as an adult. So I want to thank you for that. But getting back to Chris. Chris is obviously a phenomenal writer that does a tremendous job of connecting with both the kids and the coaches. Most sports writers cover, one or two sports. Chris specializes, it seems as if he specializes in every sport. I don't believe that there is, and I read the newspaper or the sports section cover to cover, and I don't think there's a sport that you haven't covered at some point in time over the course of the last 13 years. He's done everything, the whole gamut, and that's very, very rare. I'm an athletic director, been doing this for 20 years, and there's still sports that I say I still don't totally know the rules. But I would never be able to do what you do and how you do it. One thing that I think is special too, when it comes to Chris, I don't know that there's a local media member that tracks and follows what our student athletes do after they graduate on the level that he does. And obviously he's receiving the Jim Allen Award, and I think the last sports media member that tracked on the level that he does was Jim Allen. I don't know that there's another one. When it comes to all the kids in Lorain County and everything they're doing at the collegiate level, and I really, really, really enjoy reading about, because even for our kids at times, he has information that I don't have. But the time and effort you have to spend to be able to track those kids that leave high school through college, obviously it's a passion, and all of us really enjoy reading that. From all of the coaches, athletes, ADs, parents, and community members, we want to thank you for everything that you do. Just know you're awesome at what you do. But again, media members as a whole, you guys really do a lot for our kids and for all of us, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, and the article that I have here, Tim, we were playing Larry.
And our next set of awards are our service awards. It goes to school employees that have a profound impact on our athletic department. So our first one being introduced by Mr. Jeff Holzauer, athletic director at Keystone High School.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate all the award recipients tonight. You guys are making me feel kind of old because I'm looking through this program and I'm looking at the people that have already been up here and honored. I feel personally connected to so many of you guys. Over all the years that I've been in Lorain County involved in athletics, the Molnars, I mean, every track cross-country meet for over 20 years that I've been involved in, I feel like I see you guys. And you know, I love the heart and the passion that you guys put in for sports that I love, that don't get the recognition that so many other sports get. And you guys do such a great job. Al, you're my guy, man, like, for so many years. And my claim to fame for years was, I love to say, never got a technical called on me, ever. And it happened 2 years ago, the first time, twice in 1 year. And I didn't feel like I deserved either one. And if you talk to any coach, we never deserve any of the technicals we get. But Al, I really appreciate just that philosophy that, you know, there's no reason to do it. And if you allow a coach to get to that point, it's, you know, it's probably the official's fault. All right, it's never the coach's fault. And Homer, for years, this nice, sweet man at Columbia would always come up, shake my hand, say hi, how you doing? And over the years, I eventually kind of figured out who you were, you know, but I just thought, like, who is that nice guy at Columbia who's just always so kind and sweet? And I talked to Jason, and I'm like, you know what? I've been talking to this guy for years, and he's always been so kind to me. Like, what is his story? And a couple years ago, Jason finally kind of explained to me who you really were. And you were exactly who I thought you were. And so deserving of the award that you got today. And Chris, you're a great guy, and I love what you do. I think a lot of the younger writers that we see right now, you know, I don't know if they have the same, you know, ethical values that some of the older guys like Tim may have, and you're one of those guys that just, I think, do a great job. And I love the way you talk to me after games. I love the way you talk to our kids after games. I could go on and on about all you guys, but I'm really here to talk about James. James Kohler Service Award recognizes a person who has contributed over a period of years to the betterment of high school athletes. And I can't think of a better person to receive this award than James Kohler. James is a Keystone grad. Believe it or not, years ago, he was a guy that I looked up to. He played basketball at Keystone, a fantastic basketball player. And I think I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade when I was watching James play. And he doesn't know how much I really looked up to him as a player. Played the same position I did. And I just thought the world of him. And then I got to coach with him. He was a JV basketball coach at Keystone when I was moving up the ranks as an 8th grade coach, as a freshman coach, and we had so many great times together. Then he became our principal. I was a social studies teacher for years and years and years, and James was just one of those principals that just absolutely supported his teachers. And I kind of kept to myself, and I just always had a ton of respect for James as a person and as a principal. And he didn't bother me much, kind of let me do my thing. And for the last few years, I've been an athletic director, and I've got to see a different side of James Kohler. I didn't really care what he was doing as a principal when I was a teacher. Just don't bother me, let me do my thing. But now as an athletic director, when I'm sitting in his office, and I see really what a principal does on a daily basis. I had a ton of respect for James before, and I have even more respect for him now as what he does on a daily basis. Not only for our staff, but also for our kids. So I've been an AD for a few years. My plan was to eventually give up coaching, and I didn't want to do it yet. And I thought by now I would have given up either coaching track or coaching basketball. And I talked to fellow athletic directors, and they think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy because I can do these things because of support that I get from people like James Kohler, especially as a basketball coach. James comes to every single game. So we always have to have coverage. Normally I should be covering these events. James comes to every game. He came to every game before I was athletic director, and he's going to come to every game as long as he's a principal at Keystone because he loves our kids. He loves our student athletes, he loves our students, and he loves our staff. And I always feel that type of support from James as a teacher, now as an athletic director. I know our teachers feel the same way, and our students definitely feel the same way. So I honestly, I can't think of anybody that does more for a school district than James Kohler. And I've really got to see this firsthand, especially the last few years. So I'm really honored to give, or to award this service award to James Kohler.
Congratulations. Thank you.
So up with our next two service awards again, Mr. Brian Corey from Lorraine High School.
Okay, our next award is also a service award being awarded to Tim Costco and Howard Senich of Lorraine City Schools. As most of you know, in terms of us athletic directors, we deal with major challenges, especially when it comes to dealing with and managing our facilities. Whether it be the general upkeep, safety, preventative maintenance, etc. Our community is extremely fortunate that we have some of the best kept and maintained facilities in Lorraine County, and it's a result of these two individuals. We share stories, we have conversations on a weekly, sometimes daily basis. All of us ADs trying to brainstorm ways to better manage our facilities, whether it be baseball, softball, stadium, so on and so forth. And the unfortunate reality is us ADs don't have the expertise that the people like Tim and Howard have. Between our stadium practice fields, like I said, and baseball, softball fields, we get compliments on a regular basis. The way they're manicured, the way they're maintained. There was even one time I was out at the baseball field last year and I saw Tim. He was on his knees. He had a pair of scissors on the infield and he was trimming the edges of the infield. And that's how beautiful the infield looked. But all kidding aside, one thing that is a fact, last year our JV and varsity softball field played 71% of their games at home because our field was playable when other schools weren't. Our JV baseball team played 65% of their games at home because so many of our games that were scheduled away got moved to home because, again, our field was playable when the other schools weren't. But again, that's a testament to the work and effort that they put in to make our field some of the best in Lorraine County. In closing, I don't care how knowledgeable anyone is or how hard they're willing to work. The employees that are the most successful in their jobs, especially jobs such as this, are individuals that have a passion for their city, individuals that genuinely care more about the kids than they do themselves, and are knowledgeable enough in their craft to be able to adapt on the fly. And that literally epitomizes both of these individuals, and I want to thank them sincerely on behalf of the whole Lorraine community for everything you guys do and have done. You don't understand how much it's appreciated. Thank you.
We're going to pause for just a second because our final award winner is not in the room right this moment. So.
She ghosted us. Here, everyone look at her.
There she is.
Everyone look at her. There she is.
So our final award is our Athletic Administrator of the Year, which goes to Ms. Shayna Hirsch, who is walking to the back of the room right now. Shayna is a graduate of North Ridgeville High School. She's also a graduate of the national champion Ohio State University. You can read all of her bio information there. What makes Shayna unique is she's the assistant athletic director at North Ridgeville High School, yet she takes on an athletic director role more than a lot of athletic directors do. One of the most important things she does is she's a tournament manager for a number of sports, soccer, basketball, softball, baseball, which means she organizes coaches' meetings for seedings and things like that, that as we moved online becomes a little more challenging, getting people all in the same place at the same time. So she does a tremendous job with that. She recently received the Tim Flannery Horizon Award in 2022 from the Northeast Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. She served as the president of our organization. She's currently our vice president. And one of the most impressive things she does is she has coordinated our Women's Leadership Conference the past number of years, which just occurred this past week. We had over 250 girls from all of Lorain County go to Hoop Tech in North Ridgeville, hear from a number of speakers about leadership and women's sports and just women's life. And it's impressive to see the girls in that room. My daughter's a freshman at Brookside, and she attended this past couple days ago. And that one afternoon with all those girls and hearing the speakers and their activities they do meant the world to her. And I've seen her, honestly, in the last 2 days grow as a student athlete with that mindset of leadership and some of the things that the speakers talk about, and that's because of Shayna's work to get them there. So without further ado, I'd like to present our 2025 Athletic Administrator of the Year to Mrs. Shayna Hirsch from North Ridgeville High School.
All the athletic directors in this room have made such a big impact on me. When I started this job, I was only 22 and I had no idea what I was doing. I wanted to be an athletic director and that's all I knew, and they've been such great mentors and given me such great leadership to get where I am. Sorry, I'm gonna cry. And giving me the opportunity to do the Women's Leadership Conference and make an impact on the female athletes here in Lorain County. It really does mean so much, and it has been such a great thing for the athletes at my school and hopefully all the athletes in Lorain County. So thank you guys.
All right, so that concludes our evening. I want to thank everybody for attending tonight. Don't feel like you need to rush out, have a drink, stay socialized. But thank you very much and have a great evening, have a great spring. Thank you.